Hello, everybody. We are doing lesson 110 today. So if you have your book with you, you can pull it out. It's on page 762. We are doing lesson 110, dividing by multiples of 10. Before we talk about multiples of 10, we are going to just discuss how to divide by 10. So we're going to do some extra practice first, and then some extra practice, and then we'll go back to lesson 110 and practice dividing by multiples of 10. Okay, so we are doing lesson 110. If you need a little bit of help, you can go to lesson 105, which will give you a little bit more information on how to divide by just 10. Okay, so we're just going to do a couple of examples together, and then we'll talk about what multiples of 10 are. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, let's practice 73 divided by 10. Now this is a little bit different. You haven't seen something like this before. Normally what you have outside the little house is what I like to call it. This number right here is normally a 1-digit number, but today it's a 2-digit number. So instead of saying 2 or 3 or whatever number's outside that house, you're going to say 10 goes into 73 how many times? Okay. So this one is going to have a remainder. So instead of saying 10 goes into 7, because we know 10 is too big, right? We have to say 10 goes into 73 how many times? 10 times what gives us something close to 73, but doesn't go above 73. So if you said 7, you would be correct. 7, then we still go through the steps. 7 times 10 is 70. 73 minus 70 is 3. So our answer is 7 remainder 3. 7 with a remainder of 3. Okay, so 10 goes into 73 7 times with a remainder of 3. Okay, we're going to just go through a couple more of these so that you can have the practice, and then we'll move on to something a little bit harder. Okay, the next one we're going to do is 243 divided by 10. 243 divided by 10. Okay, so instead of saying 10 goes into 2, because we know that it can't, 2 is too small, we're going to say 10 goes into 24 how many times? 10 goes into 24 when we're going to put it above the 4 2 times, right? 10 goes into 24 2 times. 2 times 10 is 20. 4 minus 0 is 4. 2 minus 2 is 0. Bring down the 3. Now we're going to say 10 goes into 43 how many times? Goes in 4 times. 4 times 10 is 40. Subtract, and we get 3. Remainder of 3. Are you guys seeing a pattern here? Okay. There is a pattern because we've got 2 right here, 4 right here, and 3 right there. So when you're dividing by 10, you can kind of see that pattern. Your answer is going to be the first 2 digits, and then your remainder will probably be the third digit, or the third digit of the number. Okay. With the problem that we did at the beginning, we did 73 divided by 10. Your answer was this digit, 7, and your remainder was that digit, 3. Okay. So for example, if we're rounding, we would just say 10 goes into, instead of 243, we would just say 240 how many times? 10 times what is 240? Well, 10 times 24 is 240, but really this is not a 0, this is a 3, so then that is what our remainder is going to be. Okay, so if it's easier for you to do it this way, that's why I showed you that way first. Sometimes it's easier to do it that way than just do it that way. Okay, you're still you're just doing long division. If you're seeing the pattern and you're understanding it, then you can do it this way. You can look at it this way, you can estimate. There are lots of different ways that you can do this. But please, please, please remember, if you are doing a number divided by 10, the number on top has to be smaller than the number inside the house right here, right? Let's do one more example. We are going to do 561 divided by 10. Our number, our answer, has to be smaller than 561. Okay, let's say I have 561 tacos and there are 10 of you, and I'm going to divide them out evenly between all 10 of you. You're going to get less than 561, right? I don't have more than that. And if I'm dividing it between 10 people, you're going to get a lot smaller of a number than 561. Okay, so think about it. Instead of saying that this number is 561, let's just pretend it's 560. So our remainder is going to be 1. How many times does 10 go into 560? It goes in 56 times. 10 times 56 is 560. And then our remainder right here is 1 because we used 560 instead of 561. Okay, so that will be your answer there. Everyone would get 56 tacos. All 10 of you would get 56 tacos, and there would be 1 left over that nobody gets. I'll eat that one. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Like I said, if you need more help with that, go to page 730 in your book. It's lesson 105. We'll give you a little bit more of some more information and some more practice on dividing by 10. Now we are going to go back to lesson 110, and we are going to talk about dividing by multiples of 10. So instead of dividing by 10, we're going to divide by 20 or 30 or 40 or a different multiple of 10. Okay, you are going to be taking a test this Friday, a benchmark test, and you are going to need to know what multiples are. Okay, so remember, multiples are numbers that are bigger than the number that we're talking about. So multiples of 10 include 10, 20, 30, 40. They get bigger because if you can multiply a number by 10, that answer is a multiple of 10. Okay, we'll talk more about that on Wednesday, I believe. Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's look at this example right here. Instead of doing 10 divided by a certain number, we are doing 20 divided by 72. We're doing 20 divided by a certain number. Okay, so let's read what it says right here. We use the easier division to estimate the answer to the more difficult division. So instead of doing, oh, how many times does 20 go into 72? Maybe we don't know that answer. We're going to say, how many times does 2 go into 7? This number right here. How many times does 2 go into 7? All right, I'm going to write it a little bit bigger over here because that's pretty small. Okay, so 2 goes into 7 3 times. Okay, and now we are still going to use this whole number, 20. So we're going to do 3 times 20 is 60. Then we're going to subtract, and we get 12. Okay, so our remainder is 12. 3 with a remainder of 12. Why is that our remainder? Well, 20 is too big. It can't go into 12. And you don't have anything to bring down, so you're done with your problem. Remember, this remainder has to be smaller than this number. Okay, if the remainder is smaller than this number, then that is what your remainder is. You don't have to do anything else. Okay, so 20 goes into 72 3 times with a remainder of 12. Okay, there are several problems that we're going to work through. This is a difficult concept. Your homework will have lots of problems like this. So we are going to go to the practice page again, and we are going to do some of the lesson practices. So if you have your book, it's on page 763. 763, we are going to do some of the lesson practice. So the first one is 72 divided by 30. 72 divided by 30. Okay, so remember what our book said. We're not going to think 30. We're just going to think 3 goes into 7 how many times? Because really, when we do that, what we're saying is 30 goes into 70 how many times? Okay, so your brain, whatever one's easier for your brain to do that. So 3 goes into 7 how many times? Or 30 goes into 70 how many times? The answer will be the same. Okay, so 3 goes into 7 2 times. 30 goes into 70 2 times as well. 2 times 30 is 60. Then we're going to subtract. We get 12. Is 12 smaller than 30? Yes. So our remainder is 12. So our answer is 2 with a remainder of 12. I'm going to keep that one on the board over there so you can take a look at that. We're going to do some more practice. I know that this is probably difficult. It's a lot for your brain to see. These are kind of big numbers, but the more you practice, the easier it will get, I promise. So stay with me. We're going to do 87 divided by 20. Okay, remember what our book told us to do. 2 can go into 8 how many times? 2 can go into 8 how many times? 4 times. Now I'm going to multiply. 4 times 20 is 80. Now I'm going to subtract. 87 minus 80 is just 7. Is 7 smaller than 20? Yes, it is. So that is our remainder. Our remainder is 7. So the answer is 4 with a remainder of 7. This little thing right there is not important. I was just showing you what number I was using. Okay, so it's not a decimal, it's not a comma, it's not anything. Just ignore it. We've got 4 with a remainder of 7 is our answer for this one. And over here, our answer was 2 with a remainder of 12. Okay. We're going to go through the other ones kind of quickly. We are going to do 3-digit numbers inside the house. So that's what we're going to go on to next. If you want to rewind the video and watch a little bit more of this, maybe you need a couple run-throughs so that it's ingrained in your brain, you're welcome to go ahead and rewind the video to do that. If you're ready to move on with me, we're going to start doing 3-digit numbers. Okay, so we are going to do 127 divided by 20. 127 divided by 20. Okay, this one's a little bit tricky. Let's look at it. How many times can 2 go into 1? It can't. Okay, so now we got to do 20. Can 20 go into 12? Oh, sorry, not 22. Can 2 go into 12? Yes, it can. 6 times, right? 2 times 20. 2 times 20 is 120, right? Think about 6 times 2 is 12. You add that 0, so that's where the 120 comes in. Now we're going to subtract. 127 minus 120 is just 7. Is 7 smaller than 20? Yes, it is, so that is our remainder. 6 with a remainder of 7. Okay, we are going to do this next one. We are going to do 127 divided by 40. Okay, all right, let's do this one. Can 4 go into 1? No, it can't. Can 4 go into 12? Yes, it can. How many times? Goes in 3 times. 3 times 40 is 120, right? We do 3 times 4 is 12. Add the 0 on the end. So 120. 127 minus 120 is 7 again. Okay, is 7 smaller than 40? 40. Yes, it is. So our remainder is 7. So our answer is 3 with a remainder of 7. Okay. Like I said, if your brain is seeing a pattern, some of you will be able to do this in your head. If your brain is seeing the pattern, you might be able to do that in your head. Okay, if you don't see the pattern, that is totally fine. If you do it this way, it won't take you very long. That's totally fine. Some of you are seeing, oh wait, 40 can go into 120 3 times, and then there's 7 left over. Okay, if you can see that in your brain, and you don't have to do the long division part, that is great. Do that. Okay, but I'm showing you the steps to do it in case your brain is not seeing that. Okay, it took my brain a while to be able to see that. So if you can see it, awesome, great, do it that way. If not, these steps won't take you very long. So just go through these steps to make sure you get the answer right. On your test, I would go through the steps just so you make sure that your answer is right. Okay, this is what most of your homework is going to consist of. You're also going to need to know 3 different things we're going to go through really, really quick. On your homework, you're going to need to know these, and you're also taking a test on Friday that you'll need to know these things for. Okay, 2 of them will take like 5 seconds each. Okay, these are what kinds of lines? They are parallel lines. Okay, that's what you need to know for your homework, what parallel lines are. So let's think letters. Okay, let's think letters. Does this letter, the letter V, have parallel lines? No, it does not have a parallel line because this line is going to crash into that line. So this does not have parallel lines. What about the letter H? Does this letter have a set of parallel lines? Okay, you might be thinking, well, this line and this line, those would crash into each other. But does it have at least one set of parallel lines? What about this line and this line? Oh my goodness, look over here. That line and that line. They're parallel. Okay, so you are going to need to know how to find parallel lines within letters. Okay, go through the whole alphabet for practice if you want and say, is this parallel? Yes. Is this parallel? No. Is this parallel? Okay, go ahead and do that. The next thing you need to know is symmetry. What is symmetrical? Something that is symmetrical means that one side, if you cut it in half and folded it, if I had a piece of paper and you folded it like that, would this side equal the same on this side? The answer is yes, so this square is symmetrical. What about this? Is this symmetrical? If you cut it like that, it's not symmetrical, right? But what about if you cut it like that? If my handwriting or my picture was perfect, right? This looks like it's a little bit bigger, but I tried to make it even. If you cut it like that, it would be symmetrical. Okay, so just think wherever the line is, I'm going to fold it in half. If it matches up on the other side, it's symmetrical. If it doesn't match up on the other side, then it's not symmetrical. Okay, I will give you an example of something that is very much not symmetrical, like a Q. That is not symmetrical, right? If you cut it right, like this line of symmetry would not be symmetrical because this over here doesn't have a line, like the bottom of the Q. So that is not a line of symmetry. This is a line of symmetry. This one is a line of symmetry. And then like we talked about, the red one is not a line of symmetry, okay? You can pause on this screen if you need to, but we're gonna move on. The last thing that we need to talk about is we're going to talk about multiplication word problems. On your homework, you'll see 2 of those. One of the examples, I don't know if you guys know, but Mrs. Wolf really, really likes Chick-fil-A. So one of the questions on your homework says, Mrs. Wolf ate 5 chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A every day for 9 days. So she ate 5 chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A every day for 9 days. How many chicken nuggets did she eat total? Okay, are we adding, subtracting, dividing, multiplying? How are we going to solve this? Okay, well, think about it. Day 1, she ate 5. Day 2, okay, that was purple. Day 2, she ate 5. Day 3, she ate 5. I'm not going to draw 9 circles, but you get the picture, right? We are multiplying. 5 times 9 is 45, so she ate 45 chicken nuggets total. Okay, if you see a problem like this, and you will start to see these on your homework, on tests, all over the place. If it says they ate a certain amount of something per day, you're multiplying. Okay, if another problem is, I think the other one is about me eating tacos every day. So Miss Moon ate 7 tacos every day for 1 week. How many tacos did she eat total in that 1 week? So think about it. How many days are in the week? I ate 7 tacos for 7 days. So I'm going to do 7 times 7 to solve that problem. Okay? Good luck on your homework. This will help you, I promise, for the test on Friday and for the review on Thursday. Okay? So good luck on that homework. Remember, you can take this quiz as many times as you need to. So if you take it the first time and you miss 5 problems, go back in, take it again. I promise these ones will help you for the test, okay? Good luck on your homework and email me if you have any questions.